and she immediately stands up really fast and points the gun at the door. Kind of looks scared and intense and ready all at the same time. And she says, "Who the frag are you?"
Name's Yonkers. I'm going to come in, and I'm going to set down the 2 pieces I have on me on the ground. And then we're going to have a talk.
She kind of nervously, she doesn't say anything, but she looks very nervous and twitchy and anxious.
Would you like the door open or closed?
Close the door. Close the door.
I walk in. Again, no fast movements. I'm going to close the door. I'm going to slowly take off my Mortimer Argentium coat, and then I'm going to remove the Savulette Guardian and the Executive Fire. I'm going to set them in front of me on the ground. I'm going to take a step back so that my back is against the door.
She says, what the frag are you doing here? Who are you? Yonkers?
Does she look like the girl who I killed 11 of tonight?
Yeah, so the jacket she's wearing is the same jacket that the dwarf was wearing in the place. It says Janus Industries on it, and it definitely is the same as the clones from the place you were at. What are your intentions right now? Like, how are you trying to carry yourself?
Yonkers is actually legitimately sympathetic to her. Understanding being an escaped convict, he can kind of sympathize with the whole escaping from a vat of goo. Both are kind of prisons. And, this is innocent young girl who knows nothing about the world, heartstrings being tugged on.
So yeah, she says, "Who the frag are you? What are you doing here?"
Does the name Nick Ryder mean anything to you?
She thinks and kind of furrows her brow, and she says, I don't know who you're talking about."
Well, he's a member of Lone Star. Do you know what that is?
She says, "Yeah, Lone Star, the cops. I've been trying to dodge them all for days. I'm trying to dodge everybody. I want to know who you are and what you're doing here."
Mr. Riker apparently has taken an interest in you. He seems to be on the up and up as a cop, but he's taken some sort of interest in you. So he paid someone who is paying us to find you for whatever reason, though I'm not totally sure I want to hand you over. I can kind of understand your position.
What position? I mean, what do you think you know about me?
Well, I know that you have 11 identical twins.
How could you? She looks kind of shocked for a second, like, and she says, "How could you possibly know that? What?"
Honestly, it was a bit of random happenstance, but I also know that jacket you took off a dwarf, and or rather a security guard, but there was a dwarf too, that you recently got a cranial bone removed, and that piece that you've got there, you took off the security guard you got the jacket from.
Give me an etiquette roll.
I'm going to edge this. Only 2 successes.
She's not convinced. She says, I don't understand how you could know all of this information. Are you with that lab?"
Nope, but I understand what it's like to be a caged bird.
Look, you're going to have to start explaining. You're not giving me any information. You're not doing any kind of a job explaining to me how the frag, who I am, how I got here, where I came from. You weren't at that lab. I didn't see you there.
You're right, I wasn't, but I was there tonight.
Are you looking for me? Who sent you looking for me?
I already told you that Dudley Do-Right, police officer.
What in the world would Lone Star be looking for me for?
I have no idea. It wasn't why I was paid to come find you. Not sure if you totally understand this, but paychecks being what they are in my line of business, you don't exactly ask too many questions.
I don't know what you expect is going to happen here. I mean, I'm not coming with you.
No, you may not be. Honestly, I have. This is a bit of a moral conundrum for me, if this makes any sense. I don't know why he wants you either, and seeing as I can kind of sympathize with your position, having been in it once myself, sort of, or a similar position, since you don't know this chap, I'm not sure if I want to hand you over his golden knight in shining armor attitude or not.
She starts to look kind of tired and like confused, and she sits down, still pointing the gun, but sits back down, and she says, "This has been a nightmare of a couple of days."
I guess comes the big question for me. You're a technomancer, right?
I don't I don't know what I am or what I'm who I am. I don't know much of anything. I, I just I woke up in this place and these people were around me, and she starts to look more distressed and confused.
Since we've come to this, this far, and you haven't shot me yet, for which I'm much obliged. I believe it is only polite to tell you that I have three friends outside who I kept out because, well, I didn't think you wanted more company in this crowded space than you currently have, with just me in here. They're
Okay.
part of a team with me. Uh, if you don't mind, I would at least like to poke my head out the door and let them know that I haven't been shot.
How do I know that you're not just going to have them come in here and and come and get me?
How Matrix savvy are you? I know that's a bit of an awkward question to ask.
I seem to know what I'm doing, but I don't really exactly know how I know what I'm doing.
All right, well, the fact that you can do it is kind of the big thing right now. Not sure what you'll find anymore, but I want you to look up the name Pitar Vimes.
Okay. What am I looking for?
Well, just see what you find.
I've got a friend that I can send on it, and she comes back. She says, "There's this thing that's in my head, and it seems to be able to do things for me and take care of things for me." I asked him to go look for that information. I don't know when he's going to be back though.
Well, you want me to save you some effort then? Um, I'm a career criminal. Um, I spent some hard time in Slammer, uh, back upstate. Don't know what your little friend will find, but allow me to make it quite simple that he probably won't find much. But back about 20 years ago, I earned quite a reputation for myself back out in New York. Did some ugly stuff, not exactly proud of it, but yeah.
She kind of stops and thinks, and her arm kind of relaxes a little bit. She's not exactly pointing the gun at you, but more at the ground in front of you, and she kind of lets out a her body, the tenseness in her body seems to kind of relax a little bit, and she says, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. You said this police officer is looking for me. I haven't done anything wrong. I i woke up in this place, and they tried to stop me. They were doing things to me, and it was terrible, and I I I killed some of them, and I don't even know why I did that. And she looks really on the verge of tears almost.
First couple times is always the hardest. Take it from someone who's a bit of a professional. I don't want to say it gets easier, but it does. My suggestion is you not make a habit of it unless you want to look like me in 20 years. I understand you're scared, you're afraid. I understand that all too well. But right now, I need you to consider your options because I need to shortly here be figuring out if I need to call my Johnson and be telling him that You done flew the coop and got out of the city, and we have no idea where you are.
Do you think this? Why do you think this Lone Star cop is looking for me?
Well, if his reputation is anything to judge by, maybe word got around that there was a little girl in need, and he's being a knight in shining armor. He might also know something and be trying to do the right thing by you. You see, and as I remember right, cloning is still kind of a bit of a social taboo, if not a legal one. You could end up being his golden witness for persecuting the people who have done this to you. Or he could be a bad guy with a golden reputation. That is something we can look at, and I can try and feel out a little bit.
I, I mean, I really have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine. What do you think? She really is kind of looks. Her whole demeanor has changed, and she looks a lot more relaxed. Not relaxed in the sense that she is relaxed, but she's not afraid or of Yonkers directly. She seems to be deferring to his judgment, and she doesn't know what to do. Legitimately doesn't know what to do, and she's asking him for for advice.
Honestly, I've never had exactly a good working relationship with the pigs. The Star and I have a storied history of bad blood, but that might not be the case for you. Um, Tell you what, I'm going to make a phone call. If you want, I can patch you in, and I'll see what I. If you like what you hear, well, we'll see what happens.
I think that might be a good thing to do. I'm so confused. Everything's happened so fast this past couple of days.
All right. Um, 1 second then. I'm going to click on my comm and turn it off from ghosting,
Okay.
and I'm going to make a call to our Johnson.
Your Johnson appears on the screen, the troll, and he says, "Yes, how may I help you?"
I need a bit of a favor. I need you to patch me through to our your Lone Star employer.
Have you found Samantha?
Possibly.
He looks a little confused and he says, "Either you have or you haven't gained possession of Samantha."
We're talking with her. She just patched me through to our Lone Star associate.
I'd like to have a little bit more. Uh, so you are in possession of Samantha then?
Yeah, she's sitting here in front of me.
1 second. In a second, you get on the screen appears Nick Ryder. He appears and he says, "Nick Ryder here."
Evening. We'll spare you my name, but I'm the one that your troll friend sent to go find your young lady.
Yeah, I've been told that you found her. Is she okay?
She wants to know something about you and why you taken an interest.
Oh, holy dreck! We had this missing person that went a long time ago, and look, it's a cold case from a long time ago. Is this little girl went missing, and I picked it up, and uh, I heard that she was. Look, do you have her or not?
Yeah, but she's a little bit scared, not sure that the star's the best place for her.
Well, the streets are certainly not the best place for her, and Janus Industries is going to be. Um, Shiawase's going to be out there looking for her, and I'm I'm looking for her. We can give her the protection that she needs. We can make sure that we we put her on the right track to to fixing this, and she doesn't have to be on the run for the rest of her life.
I'm going to try and over the wire do a sense intentions.
Sure, go ahead and roll it.
3 successes.
As far as you can tell, he seems pretty genuine. When you started, he seemed he seemed pretty happy, almost excited that you said you found her, and then when you started to ask questions like that, he started to get a little confused and distressed. It seems like he's genuine.
You know that, well, it's not a big deal. I look at Samantha and kind of give her he seems legit look.
Well, she raises her eyebrows and her look softens a little bit, and she kind of holds the gun down at her side and goes to put it into her pocket, and she says, "Well, it would be nice not to be on the run anymore."
I'm going to pick up my things if you don't mind.
She kind of, almost reflexively tenses up for a second, and then, like, it looks like consciously calms herself down, and she says, "Yeah, that's fine."
He's going to pick up, holster everything again, slowly, no sudden movements. All right. If you want to, I'm assuming he's still on the line.
Yep.
We're going to, if she wants to come along, she's going to come along. But this isn't, well, you'll be seeing us at least.
All right. So, you want to meet at the Chicago Zone Pizzeria, like I had Juan say?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll be there.
Yeah. All right.
He hangs up.
Sounds good. I look at her and, as gently as I can, how does pizza sound?
She kind of, for the first time, almost smirks, but not quite. She's got a lot on her mind. But she puts her hands in her pocket and she stands up and she says, "Let's go."
Does her clothing still look bloody or anything like that?
Yes. The jacket's got a couple of, like, a blood stain or two on it, and there's definitely blood on the pants that you can see outside the jacket. The jacket is like 2 sizes too big for her, and yeah.
There, leave that here. I'm going to loan you my jacket.
She takes the jacket off.
All right, and Yonkers is going to walk out coatless and motion for the crew.
Haunted house faces her, takes his hands off of his HK or his Ingram smart gun, and just kind of makes a friendly hands up gesture and kind of does a quick head nod in her direction.
That's house. As we come around the corner, the tweety little kids, that's Davros, we call him Proth. And you'll see Mr. Case also.
I'd be invisible, so I'm just going to walk up to her and materialize right in front of her. Hello.
She kind of reflexively puts her hand into her pocket, but doesn't pull the gun out. She, again, perceptively, calms herself down, and she says, "Hello."
That's how you get yourself shot, right?
Yeah, maybe not the best idea. So, what happened in there?
Don't worry about it. We're going to the pizzeria. Keep the girl in the middle of us in case, I don't know, something happens. Hope you don't mind that, miss. Was it, our police friend said something that makes me kind of nervous. Not about him, mind you, but that other people might try and get involved.
She nods and she says, "I understand."
Yonkers, do you mind if I send the car with you by auto? I have another job that might get us more information that I need to finish here in the neighborhood.
Go for it.
All right, I'll leave the engine running for you outside, and I'll program in Old Chicago Pizzeria for you to arrive at.
Sounds good.
Haunted House is going to set up the car with his RCC, and then he's going to walk off in the direction of recharge.
All right, so you guys are able to get to the car, no problem. You headed up to the pizzeria. Well, while you're on the way there, what are you doing you get back to recharge? What are you doing there?
I'm gonna meet up with Andrew and just step behind the counter with him and take a look at the espresso machine using my hardware skill to see if I can do some maintenance and repair on it.
Sure, yeah, it's pretty easy. You're able to get it. It's pretty easy to fix. You're able to get it working again. It's probably going to take you not very long. It seemed like it was just a little clogged and it's just generally kind of old. But you're able to clean the parts out. It's almost like you just needed to take them apart and put them back together almost, and it seems to be working fine again.
All right, here, Andrew. I think I've got it up and running. Why don't you put together your most combobulated drink, and we'll give it a full workover.
All right, and he tries it out, and he's like, "Man, this thing works like a charm. You're a wizard with coffee makers."
Well, if you don't mind, let me go ahead and I'll leave an arrow with my comlink number. And yeah, if you know anybody else who's got similar devices or anyone else in the industry who needs some maintenance done, please put them in touch with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you're one stand-up guy, and I'll do that. I'll spread the word around, and you come by anytime you want and have yourself something to drink. Next meal's on me. Haunted House can add Andrew from Recharge as a loyalty 1 contact. He's got a connection rating of 2.
All right, well, good to meet you, and I'll be sure to take you up on that offer for a meal in the future. Food is still kind of a commodity here in Chicago.
Yeah, no kidding, especially when you're this close to the CZ.
And then they laugh and say goodbye.
All right, so you guys get to the pizzeria. There's that intoxicating smell of pizza again, Chicago-style crust and real meat and cheese baked into pure goodness. When you arrive, the hostess takes you to a table near the window, and a server takes your orders. And then a guy in a trench coat and fedora walks in, grabs a chair from another table, and sits down with you. And the server brings your meals and some bourbon and a neat bourbon in front of your newcomer. As the server leaves, the new guy in the 5 o'clock shadow, who you recognize as Nick Ryder, flashes his Lone Star badge at you to show that he's legit, and he says, "Detective Nick Ryder here." And he looks at Samantha, like a father meeting his long-lost daughter for the first time, and he says, "I understand you found Samantha Carroll."
Yeah, one of her.
Well, look, now that you've held up your end, I think, and you brought her here, I think you've earned a small bit of truth in addition to your payment. And Samantha needs to know where she came from. And Ryder pulls out a wrinkled yellow folder from his jacket labeled Carol, Samantha, and bearing an old Lone Star case number on it. He says, I don't like cold cases. And there's a lot of them in Chicago, cases as cold as the wind off the lake. And one such case involves the kidnapping of a 6-year-old girl in broad daylight on October 6th in 2053. This is my first case and my first week as a detective in Chicago. This young girl, Samantha Carroll, was taken right off the street in front of her school. And with each page he turns in the folder, he takes another sip from the glass of bourbon, and he says, there were no witnesses and the girl was never found. Family left Chicago when the bugs hit in 55, and I like to think they found a way to move on with their lives. As he finishes the bourbon, as if he's chasing down a lifetime of troubles, he says, they say you shouldn't get so attached to the people in your cases. Just clear them and close them, they say. They also say what happens your first week won't haunt you for the rest of your career. I say they're wrong about that. At this point, clearing one more case won't set my career right, but if that one more case is finding a kidnapped little girl, it's worth doing whatever needs to be done. And at that point, he goes ahead and gives you guys certified cred stick with so you guys got 4,000 and times 4, so that's 16,000 altogether for that job. That's what he said. Hands you a cred stick with 16,000 on it.
And what was it for the other job? It was 4,000 also.
4,500 new yen each times 5.
And we still need to collect payment from Quantum Princess for that original job.
Yeah, what was it from the Draco form? That was another 4K.
That was 4,500 new yen each through across 5 of you, which was 22,500. So, and Quantum Princess would have wired you the money now that she has that information. So, well, before we go into all the details about payment, are you guys done with Nick Ryder? Do you have anything else that you want to say to him or anything like that?
I'm more concerned about Samantha being kosher with this.
She seems pretty happy. Well, as happy as she can be. She seems much more comfortable than she was after hearing his story, and she's looking through the the case file that he handed and everything, and she seems to be very much happy to be around someone who actually seems to be looking out for her, and has been for a long time, trying to look out for her. And she looks to you, to Yonkers, and says, thank you, and says, I think I'm gonna go with him.
All right. Well, hey Nick, you need to get the lady a something to wear before we leave here. She is my coat, and nice as I am, I kind of do need it back.
He kind of smirks, smiles a little bit, and he takes off his coat and he says, "Of course, she can wear mine."
Kid, if Drek hits the fan, look me up. Shouldn't be too hard to find.
And they nod, and he stands up and escorts her out.